Hey guys, what is up? My name is Kaylee. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going over the books that I would like to read in October. I will not be calling it a TBR because I cannot guarantee nor promise that any of these books will get read, as I have fallen back a little bit more on mood reading, specifically because I am really struggling to read books that I forced myself to read lately. So I just have a stack of books that I'd like to read in October that I've put aside all year to read in the spooky season, and let's see what those books are. Reading all of these would be a hella stretch, so I will not be reading all of these, but I do have ones that I prefer to read over others, so I'll mention them as I go. But I've got two buddy reads, well, one read along and one buddy read, so two books will definitely get done. The first of which is The Devil May Break You. What is it called? Anyway, the third book in the Diviners series by Libba Bray, which is a read-along hosted by Melanie at Mel to the Any, Jane at It's Jane Lindsay, Madeline at Novel Inc., and Chelsea over at Chelsea Delling Reads. I'll have them all listed down below. This is the third and final month of the read-along, in which you do the read-along from the first week, and then they have the live show. I have the audiobook on hold. I'm second in line, so I probably will be behind on it, but it is a reread for me, so I am not pushing to get it done. Hopefully I'm done before the live show, but I'll have all that information linked down below. Let me know if you're reading along. I know a few of you are, and a couple of my friends are, and that's awesome because it is such a great series. And the buddy read I'm doing is with my friend Jamie over at Jamie Reads. You can find her on Instagram as well. I'll link both because she's been a lot more active on Instagram lately than on Booktube, but you should subscribe to her anyway. That is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. I've only read Final Girls by Riley Sager, so I am very excited to read this. I've heard mostly good reviews, and Jamie and I are like really good at buddy reading together. I don't know, we always have such a good time reading books together, so I'm really looking forward to reading this with her. It is a story about, I believe, like a girl who is house sitting at this high-rise, this expensive luxury apartment high-rise in Manhattan, and there are a lot of other people who also house sit within it, and then like something happens to one of the people in the apartments, and it's a thriller from that point. So that's all I know, and I like going into thrillers pretty not well known, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like to know a lot about it because it's a thriller, so you want to be kind of blindsided. So I'm excited to see where that goes. And because I read Final Girls by Riley Sager, and I intend to read Lock Every Door by Riley Sager, I also want to read The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. It's going to be a month of middle grade and thrillers for me, so beware of that. Last Time I Lied has to do with a camp and a girl that, like, things happened at the camp when she was much younger, and now she's back, maybe as a counselor or something. Again, don't really want to know a whole lot going into it. I've heard mixed reviews on this one comparatively, so we'll see what happens. Not on the top of my priority list, but I would like to get to it, especially if I like Lock Every Door. And the next thriller is The Whisper Man by Alex North. This was my book of the month pick, I don't know, a month or two ago. I am looking forward to it. I've heard pretty good things. This is about a father and son who move to a new town and a new house, hoping to start over with their lives, so I assume something happened to the mother/wife. And the town they moved to used to have a serial killer that has been like dormant, or they thought dead, for a long time, until the son starts hearing what he calls the Whisper Man. Sounds spooky. Can't wait. It is October after all. I should also mention I don't plan on doing any readathons this month. There are a lot of readathons that I really like to do in October. I might maybe do like the spookathon if that happens, but I'm not holding myself to anything. I need like a mental vacation from the stress of planning and fighting through a week when I don't like you know what I mean. Also, there's like a new Destiny update, and I'll be playing a lot of games, so like we're doing our best here, okay? Next, and probably my biggest stretch, is The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. This is a book that I have been meaning to read for like years, and then when Book of the Month started doing like modern classics, and I saw this, I had to get it because maybe it'll make me read it eventually. This is, I believe it's based on a true story. So yeah, it's like, it's based on a true story, but it's also fictionalized, and it does take place in Chicago. So I do really want to read it. It's about the World Fair that was put up, which is actually what that's what this poster is. It's the Chicago World Fair. So, and the serial killer that took advantage of the World Fair to find his victims. So, very fascinated about the story, and I've only ever heard good things about this, so I would like to get to it, but we'll see. We'll see how I do this month. Also, I picked this up at the library, and I really liked Bird Box, so we'll see what this is about, but it's Inspection by Josh Malerman. I know nothing about this book at all. Not a damn thing, and I'm not even gonna read it and pretend like I do. But I loved Bird Box so much that I read it in a day. I couldn't put it down. He just had a way of writing and pulling me in, and that could have been the kid to mother aspect that really hooked me. So I guess we'll see if his sophomore novel does the same thing. I think it's a sophomore novel. I think those are at least 2 books out. In any case, this is probably the least likely to happen, but I guess we'll see what happens, because I'm mood reading, so if I pick it up, I pick it up. And my last adult hopeful is to finally finish the Mr. Mercedes trilogy by Stephen King. This is End of Watch, the 3rd and final in this trilogy. I really, really loved the first 2 books, and I read them pretty fast, especially, I mean, it doesn't look that thick, but it's pretty long, and I read the other 2 in 3 days apiece, so I really feel like I have a chance of getting to this and doing it fast. I'm really liking it. They're more thriller than they are horror, and I do believe that what happens in the first book comes back around and is revisited, because the second book kind of goes off on a secondary thriller aspect with the same investigator, Bill Hodges. Is that his name? Yeah, Bill Hodges. Look at me. But I would like to get to this because I keep putting it off for October, so it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, I got to, right? Now we're getting into the YA and middle grade books that I am hopeful to read this month. Dig by A.S. King. So I've heard it kind of described as a thriller, but it also has a lot of very deep and dark and powerful underlying tones about like classism and racism and that kind of thing. So I'm excited to see what happens. This is probably also least likely to happen this month because it's not like that. From what I can tell, it's not the most like thriller / horror as compared to like a lot of my other TBR, but I just keep wanting to pick it up, and because I've been mood reading, I just feel like maybe it's going to happen. So I wanted to put it out there in the universe. And now for some middle grade. The Near Witch by V.E. Schwab. V.E. Schwab's one of my favorite writers, but when it comes to her more YA stuff, I do prefer her adult work over her YA, and this middle grade, I started it for, I believe, The Owls back in April, and I decided to put it away for a fall read instead because it's just got so much fall vibes. It's about a girl who like sees this boy that disappears into like smoke, and then like the next day the town is talking about it, this mysterious boy, and she gets caught up in it all. So I'm very interested to see what happens. It was her first published book that went out of publication and got reprinted, so we'll see. I think she gets stronger with every book she writes. So the first book I don't have total high hopes for, but a lot of my friends really did like it, so I think it should be a pretty fast read, being that it's like low-end YA / middle grade, so we'll see. And speaking of V.E. Schwab, I also have her second middle grade book in the City of Bones series, which is City of Ghosts series, which is Tunnel of Bones. I loved City of Ghosts. I gave it 5 stars. It had a little bit of things that I struggled with, but not a whole lot, so I do expect to really love this. I can't see myself like not after falling in love with Cassidy in the first one. She is such a fun little protagonist, and I'm excited for where this series goes. This one takes place in Paris. The first one took place in Edinburgh in Scotland, so I have a lot of familial ties to Edinburgh and Scotland, so I felt that, and I've got no ties to Paris, so we'll see if that played into my love for City of Ghosts, but I am really looking forward to Tunnel of Bones. And last but not least, I've got Dead Voices by Catherine Arden. Small Spaces by Catherine Arden was her middle grade from last year that took place in the fall and was about scarecrows, and it was creepy and atmospheric, but also not my favorite of her work. As you guys probably know, the Bear and the Nightingale trilogy is my absolute favorite fantasy YA probably ever. So we'll see what happens. I like to support her because I think she's a wonderful person. I went to one of her signings. Her story and her ability to speak is just astounding and inspiring, and I will get anything that she ever writes. But her middle grade was my least favorite of anything I've read from her. So we'll see where this one goes, but I have high hopes because this one takes place in a cabin on like a ski resort, and it gives me very like R.L. Stine Fear Street vibes. So I'm hoping that my love in my teen years will like pull into this and we'll feel the same vibes, but we'll see what happens. Okay, that is it. Those are books that I'm hoping to read in October. I can guarantee at least 4 or 5 of them will get read of the like, I don't know how many I showed. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 books plus 11 books. So we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed for me. I did read 15 books this past month in September, so it's a possibility but not a reality. So let me know if you're reading any of these books down below. Let me know what your top spooky reads will be this month. What is your favorite, scariest book that you have ever read? That's what I like to hear. The best scary books there are, because it's very hard for me to get scared in a book. Very hard. All right, that's it, guys. Like if you like this video, subscribe if you are new here and would like to see more content from me. I post all my social media links down below. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads. I hope you're having a great day and that October is perfect and spooky, and unless you don't like spooky things, in which case I hope you read some amazing books anyway. Have a great one, guys. See you in the next one.